YNW Melly, his real name is Jamel Demons. He's actually in plain clothes in the courtroom for the first time in months, again, as this judge really starts the long process of seating a new jury.
As a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless.
Do you understand the offer that the state is making to you? As to all the charges that you're facing, the maximum possible penalties are as follows. Life in Florida State Prison, followed by 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 75 years.
Offset remarked, "Damn, Melly is getting snitched on by his best friend after the YNW Bortlen plea deal was revealed. Give the boy a break. He's been in prison for far too long." His reaction to the news of World War I was this. The deadline for Melly's co-defendant, YNW Bortlen, to accept a 16-year plea deal is tomorrow. At this moment, he's facing 5 life sentences and 75 years in prison for the conviction. In addition to 2 first-degree witness tampering counts, directing operations of criminal conduct, and other witness tampering accusations, YNW Bortlen risks 5 life sentences according to the plea agreement offer sheet. A 16-year prison term with...
Mr. Henry, do you understand the offer that the state is making to you? Okay, you're charged as follows. Counts 1 and 2 is the first degree with a firearm. Those are capital felonies, which means it's a mandatory life sentence. If the jury convicts you of count 1 or count 2 as charged, that's life in Florida State Prison. I have no discretion. Count 3 and count 4 are accessory after the fact to the first degree. Those are each first degree felony. The maximum penalty for each of those is 30 years in Florida State Prison. Count 1 is tampering with a witness in a capital felony. That is punishable by life in Florida State Prison. Is directing the activities of a criminal, that's a first degree felony punishable by life. So the maximum penalty there is also life in Florida State Prison. Count 5 is conspiracy to commit tampering. And again, as it's charged, that is also a life felony. As to all the charges that you're facing, the maximum possible penalties are as follows. Life in Florida State Prison, followed by 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 75 years in Florida State Prison.
Do you like the video? Would you take the offer? The first of the 5 reasons the feds are currently negotiating a plea deal with Bortlen is that he interrogated someone the night of the incident. If you know who did this crime, would you tell me? He would be asked direct questions by the police. If Bortlen's dishonesty is obvious,
like just telling me the truth, even if it's something that I don't want to hear, but I respect the truth rather than BS, okay? And a simple question. If you knew who did this, okay? You may or may not know. If you knew who did this, would you tell me? It's either a yes or no question. Answer.
Honestly?
Yeah, honestly. The truth. You wouldn't?
Because I wouldn't want to be a part of it. I wouldn't want to be.
the feds already knew that Bortlen was lying because he didn't offer a clear affirmative or negative answer with his voice. Instead, his head was shaking. This is because, if Melly were the criminal, he would surely be aware of this. Because he was lying, if he had refused the officer in a difficult situation, he would have either cracked his voice or spoken at a different pitch than he had been using during the interview. It would show police that Bortlen had no intention of being engaged at all, and he knows what happened. His only desire is to get out. Melly's confession to the crime has already been proven to the federal government. All Bortlen has to do is verify it.
The PC Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly account says what?
After that, SHHHH.
Considering how certain WW Melly was about his case, this is terrible timing. He even ordered the release of a $100,000 diamond chain while he was in prison.
I would assume that he spent a lot of money on lawyers. Like an amount that would probably...
That kid spent a lot of money on a lot of things that shouldn't have been spent on.
Really? Like what else?
and cars, jewelry. And he's not even out to wear the jewelry. I'm like, why are you buying jewelry? You're not here to wear the jewelry.
No, definitely lawyers are probably the best thing you can spend.
That's
money
what
on.
bro. But he's good with lawyers, bro. Like, money ain't an issue for lawyers. Like, he's fine, but it's just like, there was a lot of stuff that should have went to lawyers that he didn't spend on lawyers. And I'm like, bro. And now it's like, he don't even want the chain no more.
Because Melly was so certain that he would win the case in the second trial, he was ordering diamond chains from behind bars after he had already been found guilty of a mistrial in the first trial. All that changed though, when the news media announced that Wells' double retrial has now been postponed once again. On Friday, the 4th District Court of Appeals held a hearing and granted a stay in the case. To allow the state attorney's office more time to review a motion, the trial has been rescheduled from September before, how to get to January 2027. In order to allow themselves as much time as possible to come to a compromise with YNW Bortlen, the trial has already been rescheduled. Shortly thereafter, the news would announce that a no communication order had been filed in the YNW Melly trial. YNW Melly and Bortlen are totally separated by the order. The prosecution coerces Bortlen into snitching on Melly by using silence, neither lawyer talk nor conversation.
Issue here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It's just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase, it's the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found guilty.
Since YNW Bortlen is on their side and only needs to confirm a few pieces of evidence that implicate Melly, they will win Melly's trial in 2027. There is only one reason though, why YNW Bortlen will turn on Melly. Sitting there and accepting life behind bars is not something he can do. Chin. This is also due to the fact that during the initial trial, YNW Melly's lawyer tried to convince the jury that YNW Bortlen was guilty of this offense. Since then, Melly and Bortlen have not spoken to each other.
Those were his lies. Courtroom Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with two bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Courtroom Henry.
During the interrogation I previously detailed, YNW Melly's own lawyer informed the jury that Bortlen was lying to the federal authorities. When they died, he was the one with juvie and sack chaser, and he was the one who had no residue on his hands. They even invited a forensic scientist to testify in order to provide further information regarding the powder residue.
So the right hand of Courtroom Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of powder residue and two component particles. And the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of powder residue and 1 2-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was powder residue present on the hands.
Reported. W. Bortlen tweets a mysterious message on the same day Melly's mistrial was declared. After Melly's mistrial was granted, as YNW Bortlen was highly dissatisfied. The tweet claims that mind games don't work on people like me, and it includes a handshake symbol which suggests that he's accepting a deal. But worse, He has every reason to turn on Melly in light of what was found inside Bortlen's home.
Melly's co-defendant YNW Bortlen was booked into a Miami jail Monday night and is being held behind bars on an out-of-county warrant. We just confirmed the warrant is out of Broward County for witness tampering. The warrant obtained by Law and Crime Network states as follows. On or about April 10, 2023, continuing through and including July 22, 2023, Cortland Henry, aka Bortlen, along with others, did unlawfully and knowingly engage in misleading conduct toward another person with the intent to cause or induce them to withhold testimony. The warrant continues the alleged witness had been summoned by the legal process to the jury trial of Jamel Demmons, aka YNW Melly. The dates in the warrant are important. Jury selection for Melly started in mid-April, and a judge declared a mistrial on July 22nd, the same day the warrant claims Bortlen allegedly tampered with the witness.
These images show alleged notes that were discovered during YW Bortlen's house inspection last week and presented to the Broward clerks. These images of Mortland were accompanied by a description of each juror's appearance and where their seats were. As before the incriminating evidence against Mortland was presented by Melly's lawyers, Mortland showed up in court to be given his own trial date. Mortland's mind would recall each juror's appearance and where they were before he left the courtroom. To be honest, it looked like Mortland would use them if they decided his best friend was guilty.
Keep it real, this is sloppy. Bortlen, how the f you gonna have the notebook of the jurors in your house? Holy sh! Like, come the f on. It's like doing a and having the surveillance tape in your DVD player or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like they raid your crib and the surveillance footage of the is in your DVD player. They be like, oh, okay, thank you, brother. This can't be at your crib.
But after listening to Melly's lawyers try to paint Bortland in a bad light, he finally packed the writings into a suitcase and put them away in his closet. Let me clarify though. For YW Melly, this is where things start to become quite concerning. Bortland will verify all of the new evidence meant to be used against Melly by the prosecution. Tell me if he seems guilty because of this. Prosecutors are interested in learning why Fredo Bang picked up YNW Melly from the side of the road the night of the crime.
And Chris Thomas are... So what you're also going to find out is while Mr. Demmons is out there on the side of the road, 4 in the morning, 4:42 specifically, he sends a drop pin, digital homing beacon, to his current location, to one of his friends, Frederick Givens. Frederick Givens is also involved in the music industry, and he asked to be picked up. Frederick Givens, then about 11 minutes later, is sent another drop pin where Mr. Demmons has moved a couple of meters. What you're going to find out as well, though, is these digital leashes, they have more than just phone call.
But they also intend to use a Facebook picture of YNW Melly and Young Thug to bolster their claim that the two belong to the same street crew, the Red Squad.
Same thing, the use of the slap term, 5-point star, snake. He's saying he's YSL, and he puts up his YNW for life hashtag on it with Mr. Demmons has the big B hand signs displayed.
Okay, and see the individuals again. I'm assuming that's also Young Thug. That's also unknown.
Yes.
Also important to your investigation, correct?
Yes.
Also publicly available for anyone to see and capture.
This visa documentation is interesting because when the prosecutors tried to use it during Melly's trial, Melly was seen screaming at his lawyers to just let them use it since he knew Mortland would just check it regardless. According to the press, today's hearing marks the first time Welly publicly went against his legal team's advice in open court, as Melly was seen.
Yes, sir. Against our advice, our client wants to proceed.
You rejected it. You're requesting me to determine this automatic stay.
Based upon what our client has instructed us, yes.
In front of a large crowd in the courtroom, YNW Melly said, quote, "I don't care. Not that I'm a member of any gang. Neither can they."
924-071. Call for an automatic stay while
they were aggravators. They go to membership in a gang. There are things that the jury would have to find before going into penalty.
Not aggravator that to the death penalty, aggravator that's the enhancement itself, Your Honor. That was charged. He was charged in committing the for the further conviction, which is an aggravator in terms of the guilt.
Something that they would have to find by way of an interrogatory.
Yes.
This is by far the worst evidence, though. They want to try to make use of an ex-OBLAC member who betrayed YW Melly in a public interview before Melly's imprisonment and King Von's passing. Their best friends were each other. The people inside OBLAC were told by King Von that Melly was asking him for advice on how to handle certain people.
Did Von really tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Von was mad at me. Bro, why you put up there, bro? Walk the bam. I'm like, you sitting up here, like, you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his two friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around them?
Melly's trial was delayed until 2027, so they will have 2 years to make all of that evidence usable. And he affirms that if they do, Mortland will be sentenced to life in prison. But the second court case involving YW Melly is much worse. The only reason Melly was not found guilty in the first place was because his girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton, refused to testify against him during the trial and left the country. But only a month ago, she tried to get back to the country.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
She tried to go home because she was sorely missing her family in the United States. But she was immediately arrested at the airport. In the end, she would be held for a week before her first court appearance. When Mariah would arrive in the courthouse, the judge would give her the worst possible time by saying, "If you agree to testify against Melly, you're free to go." Before he could continue, she gave her consent. The worst news YW Melly could uncover was shared on Facebook with the caption, to my village, I am grateful. My love for you all will never fade, not God's design, but his." Furthermore, YW Melly faces a life sentence if she can demonstrate that a single text message forced her to not testify in court, even if Mariah is well aware of what happened with Sack Chaser and Juvie. This is called witness tampering and carries a life sentence in prison, regardless of whether Melly was the one who attacked Sack.
State filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
The witness tampering issue is also separate from his pending prosecution involving Juvie's death and Sack Chaser. He saw the jail phone being tampered with, which is why this occurred. WWW. The ban on Melly's phone use has been in place for almost a year. The feds found evidence on Mariah's iCloud account that Melly had sent voicemails telling her to depart, thereby escaping the country. Juvie's father publicly exposed WW.
There was this kind of crazy way that Melly was communicating. He wasn't allowed to use the phone, but he was passing notes to people, and then this person's calling this person, and then that person.
Saying like to me, they going through extreme measures, trying to cover up or convince people not to testify, like Mariah mom. They was using code words like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's baby mom.
In an interview, Melly's mother, Jamie King, said that the county jail had denied Melly the chance to communicate with his loved ones because he is no longer even allowed to call his own family on a jail phone.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to just to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
Authorities have, however, refused Melly access to the jail phone in the event that it comes out that he was interfering with witnesses' use of it. Although they had the evidence hidden away until the trial begins, they wouldn't just ban Melly from the phone if he suspected that he witnessed someone tampering with the evidence, because that would result in a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Jamie King revealed that she is completely heartbroken for her son as a consequence.
You saw Melly's statement just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life. As a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We've tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone